reclamation, meaning a cultural process by which a group reclaims terms or artifacts that were previously used in a way disparaging of that group. Some people think that words are one of the most powerful tools known to man, while others believe that words only have as much power as you give them. Throughout American history, many minority groups have been subjected to slurs and derogatory terms that perpetuate negative stereotypes. However, some of these words have been reclaimed by minority groups and used in a way that empowers them, which leads us to these questions. Is it appropriate to impose on someone's freedom of speech by trying to exclude them from using a word? And because a minority group has reclaimed a slur, does that mean only they can use it? In this brief film, we will talk about this subject in order to illustrate how one person's view may be completely opposite than someone else. By doing this, we encourage people to have tolerance and recognize the true power of words.
My name is Anita Revilla. I am a professor at UNLV. I'm an associate professor and the director of Gender and Ethnic Studies. I've been here 14 years. I identify as a Chicana Latina, as a queer person, specifically fluid, meaning that my sexuality is fluid and open. I can love and or desire anyone of my choice. Well, what we know is that the formal language that we're educated in is one that was fashioned after Eurocentric patriarchal perspectives, right? So what we understand to be correct language, correct English, even correct Spanish, for example, was determined by, men, usually of European descent, who have power, who had wealth and power and the ability to create anything formal, whether it's formal education, formal legal structures, right? So that language has been heavily contested throughout time. Feminists in particular have pushed back. It used to be that the word man and men, mankind, was all inclusive, and we know that that's not inclusive, right? Women were cisgendered women, meaning they were identified as women at birth and continue to identify as women comfortably. They were the ones who I think historically were part of women's movement in society, although there also were trans and non-binary women, whether we recognize it or not. Meaning there were women who were always challenging these identities, right, and saying, we are not men, we are not mankind, and so please recognize us as something different. And so people thought it was petty, right, that women wanted to change mankind to...
I have been teaching at UNLV since fall of 2016, and as you know, I teach Colo 100 on Hamilton. Latino Studies trained, graduate degree in American Studies, and do so many other things. And so and I use the royal we, like individuals use words, individuals who can speak, whether verbally or through their hands, and people who can hear or interpret signs, use words to give meaning. As a bilingual person, I know the importance of words because sometimes I have ideas in English that I cannot communicate in Spanish. But it's usually I have feelings and emotions and ideas in Spanish that I can't translate into English. And so the power of words is that we use them not only to make meaning, but when the royal we or a select we uses them over time, the meaning gets solidified. And when one we goes against another we regarding a specific term is when chaos or conflict arises. Chaos sometimes starts off as conflict. For example, the word humanity was not always applied to every creature.
So my name is Joe. I'm 24 years old. I work at Starbucks. I'm studying education, ASU online, and I identify as queer and polyamorous.
Hello, I'm Jalen Encarnacion. I'm a student at UNLV, and I also play football, Go Rebels.
So I guess I've personally reclaimed the word queer. I think that that's something that was negatively used toward me, mostly as like a child and a young adult. I think it's still negatively used toward me, but I've chosen to take back some of the power in that word by using it to describe myself, kind of reclaiming it and giving it my own definition.
Honestly, I do reclaim the word like or nigga. I use it with if I'm with my friends or like around my team. Just only that time or when I'm mad at somebody, at the person. That's one probably time I use it.
I don't think they should use the word queer.
And why?
I think that the word queer has been used to systemically oppress people who are in that particular community. And so the burden of either reclaiming it or not is specifically reserved for the people within that community. And the people outside of that community haven't experienced that. They don't know what that looks like. They don't know what that feels like. It's not their word to use or to take back.
Personally, I think it's okay. It's because I think it's okay because it doesn't have an effect on me. So like if you want to use it, you can use it, but to a certain extent, I want to say, it's just like if you're saying it repeatedly, that could make a problem.
The word queer is really powerful. I think that when people who are in the community use the word queer, it can be really empowering. It can feel, really validating to see other people reclaim something that's hurt you the same way it's hurt them. And I think on the flip side of that, it's also powerful because when people who have not been hurt by that word use it to hurt you, it can be really, really painful. And so that word, is really powerful, and it's kind of weird how words do that.
The N-word goes all the way back to the slave days and how white people used to call it to black people. So now when a white person says it, it's offensive. But it's also to the power of other swears like the B word, as a bitch. Like it's funny how, not funny how, but if you've noticed, like a female can call a male a bitch, but if a male calls a female a bitch, it's a total like opposite. Like they hate it. It's just that certain people give certain words too much power, in my opinion.
Harmful language creates barriers amongst people, hindering society's ability to heal from a history that is rooted in oppression. However, many terms coined as harmful have been reclaimed by disenfranchised persons in order to heal within their own cultures. This is due to the fluid nature of language, allowing for words and symbols to come in and out of style, to be redefined over and over until individuals feel they adequately express what they are being used to describe. This dichotomy has given rise to a multitude of perceptions regarding the appropriate use of language. In our film, we highlighted 4 individuals with similar experiences. They'd had harmful words used against them and chosen to reclaim them for themselves. Through these interviews, we see how each individual's perception of a word can evoke different emotions. They also had varied opinions on who had a right to use the language or words they'd reclaimed. The goal of this video is to stand as a reminder of our duty as citizens of this earth to be tolerant of those around us and conscientious of how the language we use makes others feel. We must remember that though progress has been made, it doesn't afford mainstream persons the ability to use language freely. We should always strive to use language appropriately to communicate and not deteriorate what has been earned.